So
apparently a big deal that the churro Mickey waffles were not around. That was a big thing on social media, but they were there on that Castaway Day. I don't know if that's the day that it's there every time, but never fear, you can get your churro waffles at least once. Welcome to this.
I'm sorry, it's such a pretty trip.
Episode of the Mazza's Musings podcast, where we are talking even more Disney Destiny. Now, of course, a couple of weeks ago, you heard Meghan give the 8-year-old perspective on the Disney Destiny, which is the newest in the Wish class of vessels for Disney Cruise Line. And then last week, you heard the first half or so of Eileen and my report, so to speak, on our adventures. Now, we started out with our arrival in Fort Lauderdale and embarkation day and all that fun stuff, all the way through to our excursion in Cozumel. So where we're going to pick up on this episode is later that evening when Pirate Night began. And then we're going to work our way through another sea day, our day at Castaway Cay, and then our return to Fort Lauderdale, where we did get to spend a little bit of time exploring that area. All in all, this was a terrific adventure, and we're really excited for you to hear the rest of it. But of course, what always seems to be an adventure is Meghan's Cuckoo Bananas Joke of the Week.
And now it's time for Meghan's
Cuckoo Bananas Joke.
Hi, Meghan.
Hi.
Do you have a joke for us today?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
Daddy, what are you doing under there?
What am I doing underwear?
You said underwear.
Why do I keep falling for that one? Okay, say goodnight.
Good night.
I swear she's told that one before. It may be just something that she's caught on to here at the house and keeps telling me, but I feel like that one has appeared in a podcast before, and I just didn't have the heart to tell her. But anyway, I also really feel like it's been a while since I've done Mazza's Mickey Minute, but of course we have had Disney specific episodes, so it'll be just one more week. But in the meantime, I hope you're not disappointed to hear the rest of our talk about the Disney Destiny. So let's get right to that main topic.
Donald, wake up! It's showtime! Don't forget the orchestra!
Ah, there you are. And just in time.
Mom says there's even more magical stuff now.
For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the doors.
Hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness. And here we go!
So yeah, Pirate Night. Of course, I was in my full pirate regalia after having been on the last trip and feeling very out of place by not having any pirate regalia. I went and plundered the Halloween clearance sale at the Spirit Halloween that was basically across the street from our house. So Meghan said multiple times that I looked ridiculous, which I take as a badge of honor. And no,
it was fun. I'm glad we
met Chippendale before the show, correct? Or was that after?
Pirate Night?
Yeah.
We met them earlier.
Earlier.
We might have left Pride Lands and gone there or something, but
yes.
After the show, that was the one night we did not sit on the veranda. We just all went to bed.
So, and we met some characters in their pirate costumes, including Chip and Dale.
And those were the last ones that she needed of like the gang for her autograph book.
Right.
So,
yep.
So we had to make sure to get them.
Yep.
But yeah, I know we met Captain Mickey, or not her, Pirate Mickey.
Yes.
I think it might have just been Chip and Dale and Mickey.
That's true. Yeah. Because, right, we met Daisy in her sailor outfit, not in her pirate outfit. So and then I danced a jig with Dale. And then later that night we did go to the party. We actually had I saw where everybody was kind of setting up on I never get it right, but if you're facing the front of the ship to the right, and I saw everybody setting up there, so I was thinking about going and getting a spot like up on deck 12 there. I happened to see a crew member, and I said, is that the side that the fireworks go off on? And he said, well, yeah, but if you want a good view of everything, I would be over there. And he pointed to the opposite corner, kind of like towards the back of the ship on the other side. So if you're facing the front of the ship, like, the front of the ship's in front of you, it would be to the left. So you go up the stairs past the pools, and like you're kind of overlooking the deck 11 deck. And he was absolutely right, because we could see the show.
We didn't have to turn.
Well, it was perfect. We could see the show. You're absolutely right. We didn't have to turn. We could see the show there. What I think is cool too is seeing the whole crowd of people on deck 11, partying and stuff like that. And then we just looked up, and there were the fireworks. The show itself was very much geared towards adults, even some somewhat older than us. It was a lot of classic rock
music that we know because of our parents,
70s, and some 80s hair. So it was a fun show with recognizable music. They also tied in, obviously some pirate kind of music, and just a really good time.
Yeah. It was a rockin' party.
It was a rockin' party. And I didn't know what to expect at all, because we hadn't seen the show before. And I really tried not to look at stuff ahead of time, because I didn't want expectations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I tend to do that whenever there's something new,
if you can avoid it,
whether it's at the parks or elsewhere. So we ended up just crashing that night.
Yeah. And then the next day was our second sea day.
Yeah.
And that day we planned to kind of chill, take it easy. And I think for the most part we did. She was up earlier than I would have liked. But that was the day you guys went and did some picture taking.
I was so proud. I got a picture of Meghan laying on the floor. Now, I had done it first, but the picture of her laying on the floor. She got a camera for Christmas, so she was taking some of her own pictures too to put in her own photo album. Laying on the floor in the grand hall, taking a picture of the chandelier. Yeah, so we had some fun doing that.
And then we had breakfast, but that was the day. That morning we also met Mirabelle and Bruno, and then Black Panther. So that was kind of what we did in the morning.
Right. Yeah, and the breakfast we did the
every
day we did the buffet at Marceline Market. So which for us just is fine. It's got enough variety that it hits the spot. It's not anything. We're not huge go out to breakfast people anyway. So this was already more breakfast than we normally eat.
Yeah.
So that was fine. And there are opportunities to eat breakfast elsewhere, but it's easy enough to just do the buffet. So that's what we stick with. Yeah. But yes, Mirabelle and Bruno. I wasn't there for that experience because I went down to get
Black
in line for
Panther.
Black Panther, because we were going to have limited opportunities when we could see him. And that was a really great interaction. I wasn't sure how Meghan was going to.
Oh, she was great.
Yeah, and of course she was wearing
A
a
cat
shirt with cats on it. So he was actually talking about like the symbolism of cats, and stuff like that. So I think he really kind of hooked her, and
And I think especially we all would meet the characters, but first we'd let her go up. And
Yes.
most of the time, like, she was good with that because like she would talk to them. Whereas if we were there first, she was a little more like
Right.
standoffish.
Yep.
But then she went to Kids Club, and that's when we did the beer tasting.
Yes. Yep. We did a beer tasting that was at the Cask and Cannon, which truthfully is like during its nighttime, it's like the sports bar. It's basically like a nautically themed or pirate themed sports bar because they'll have the games on and such. That place must have been rocking during the Olympics.
Yeah.
But for this, they just, and the person who was leading it, all of the beers that we had were Belgian style. There were a couple of Trappist beers, and so.
And that was like, I had never done like a formal tasting, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And another one who the guy's name was escaped me. And I know that Scott was very interested in finding out who it was, and I just couldn't come up with it. And it wasn't any of the ones that he listed. But he was great. And it was kind of the opportunity too, where there were some bowls with snacks, and there were a few times where he was just like, take a sip of this and then try this, and tell me what you think. And so it was a little bit of a sommelier experience with that as well. So that was cool.
Yeah. And then we really just kind of chilled out that afternoon. You and I, we got a drink. Then like after that was when we went up to the front of the ship, and it was super windy, and the beer was blowing out.
That's right. It was, I mean, you're on the front of a ship, it's going to be windy anyway, but it was a little bit of a windier day. So I went to take a sip of my beer, and it literally like went across the side of my face and cheek and didn't actually make it into my mouth. I had the glass up to my mouth, and it still just carried it away.
And then we did pool time after.
Yeah.
We did the Aqua Mouse.
Yeah, which Meghan did not like. But
I rode with that, and I guarantee she liked it. But she would not admit that she liked it.
And she held strong, and basically they let us rider swap on that. And she got off and waited for you and I to
go do it.
To go do it. And it's a lot of fun. I did get like that final splash. I got absolutely blasted. And I don't know if that had to do with the weight being more in the front.
Right, because typically, and then we did, some pool time, and then that's when she did the Slidosaurus Rex.
Yes.
And determined that she loves that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wasn't sure because Meghan was right at that top level of what was allowed for the splash pad last time, and she really liked the splash pad. So I wasn't sure how she would fill her time knowing she couldn't go there, but
just meant pools and Slidosaurus. Well, and I thought it was funny because she was all about going on the Slidosaurus Rex, and then we got up there and she didn't want to do it. I was like, okay, I'm not going to force you to do it. And then we did some pool, and I told her we had to get out of the pool, and it was time to go back to the room.
And then she wanted to do it.
She's like, well, can I do it now? So basically she wanted to do it, but didn't want to give up her pool time. But I also didn't want to, knowing how she can be like nervous and anxious about stuff, the fact that she was like really wanting to do something new.
Yeah.
was like, okay, we have to let you do this.
Yeah. And there were a couple times when she was in the pool that I asked her,
Yeah.
it's just like, this is going to be our last opportunity to do this, because the next day was our Castaway Day. So I said, this is going to be our last opportunity to do this. I don't want you to miss out on something that you really want to do. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. And she said, nope, I don't want to do it. But in the end, she ended up, I don't know if playing us a little bit is because it wasn't like we were in a rush to do something else, but
Yeah, I mean, we're like, okay, we're gonna go get ready for dinner, but
right.
Then, yeah, I think. Oh, that night we went to Hercules.
That's right, and I really enjoyed Hercules. I thought that was a really well done show. Scott, in the podcast episode that I did with him and Emily, had some criticisms. He said that overall it was good, but he didn't enjoy what they did with Pegasus. And he also was a little underwhelmed, he said, by the Titans.
I can see both of those criticisms. Absolutely.
And I told Emily, and Emily told me, do not give this any credence. Do not give this any legitimacy. The show is great. I can see where he is coming from on both of those counts. With that said, it did not take anything away from my enjoyment of the show. I actually liked because any other way that I can think of that they do the Titans, there wouldn't be an actual interaction between Hercules and the Titans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think in that respect, it worked. It worked. Yeah. So,
but if those were his two things, I would 100% say I can see those.
And I think especially even like he was comparing it to another show that I haven't seen on a different ship. But even compared to like the monster with the snake heads earlier, it was a little bit more simplistic than that. And I really liked that effect that they had with the puppetry with that. But yeah, so I thought it was a good show. There was some nice puppetry. The performances themselves were really strong. I thought that the woman who played Meghan was really good. She also was Elsa in the Frozen show that we saw. No,
I thought it was fantastic.
It was really entertaining.
Really loved like the glittery, sparkly muses costumes.
Oh yeah,
that was
the muses were great.
I loved that.
Yeah.
And Meghan she doesn't know the story of Hercules the way we do, but like she was like, I was sitting next to her. I think the next night she was between us,
and this was a question that I forgot to ask her.
She was clapping along to all the songs.
Yeah. She's heard some of the songs because we have them on the CDs and stuff like that. But this was one of the questions that I had forgotten to ask her. We had talked about it earlier, but I had forgotten to ask her which of the shows she liked better. And she said that she did like Frozen better, but it was simply because she knows the story better.
Yeah.
So I think that she did enjoy both of those. And there are plenty of kids who have seen Hercules. You may have seen Hercules like once.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think so. We saw Hercules and then we saw Frozen the next night.
Right.
I thought both were excellent shows. I thought the Hercules was a little more well done overall, but it, like you said, it's the premiere show on the ship. So that is the one that they're going to put a little more into.
That one that they had for 2 days. And yeah.
But I thought the Frozen one was really fun too. And I'm glad we went to that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think again, she went to bed. We did a beer on the veranda and then went to bed ourselves. I know we've talked forever already, and we still have Castaway. I saw we're like well over an hour already.
Yeah, that's fine.
But so we woke up the next day. and we went to.
Which night was this? Was that the night before we get to Castaway? Was that the night we tried to check out? What was the night that we tried to check out DeVille's Lounge?
I think that was the second night. That was earlier.
Okay.
So she was at a kids club, so I think that was like the second night.
So just circling back to that, we did make a quick stop in the DeVille Lounge, but it was
just
packed.
too crowded. It wouldn't.
It's really small. I mean, it's a lounge, so it's not meant to be. But it was really small. It was wall to wall, like people in every seat, and I mean, part of the issue on why it feels so small is there's a giant grand piano sitting in the middle of it.
Which is also part of the draw.
Right,
you get to go in.
Exactly. But like the theming in there was terrific. Yeah. So if you manage to score a spot in there, I think that you'd have a great time. We kind of looked around and stuff like that. Yeah. And determined that it just wasn't going to happen. So, yeah. And just one other sidetrack while I'm thinking about lounges. I did, and this was something that I was talking with Scott about, is I thought that it was a little odd with, I kind of felt like the Haunted Mansion was where the Sanctum should be, you know? Like, I don't know Captain Marvel, or not Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange all that well.
Yeah.
I more know the character from other movies that he's been in than that actual movie where the Sanctum is much more of a thing. But it feels like it's like much more of a secluded place, like a library or something like that.
Yeah.
So having it open air felt kind of odd to me.
That, yeah.
Like I liked the theming in it, and we did have a drink there. Like we did the one that if you trace your finger up, you can
up the side.
Which apparently sometimes works better than others. We mostly got it. I think
get it a little more than halfway.
Yeah. But and that's just novelty. Like it just looks cool.
I did enjoy that drink though.
The drink was good, but you know, you're paying the $22 for the novelty of like running your finger up the glass. But I think that they determined when they saw what a hit the Haunted Mansion Lounge was, they kind of pivoted and they're just like, okay, we'll put the Sanctum here and put another Haunted Mansion Lounge because people will want it.
Yeah, you know, because people did want it. It's cool.
And like Scott pointed out, he's just like, it doesn't really fit with the theming of the ship, but I still love it. You know, like, are the ghosts villains? Are they heroes? They're not really either. You know, so, but the lounge itself was, was terrific. So, and by the end of it, James knew who I was because James was one of the bartenders because he was
because that's where you were getting beers at the end of the night.
Yep.
And sometimes other times, but that was often where we'd get the nightcap.
Yep.
So Castaway.
Yes.
That was I loved Cozumel, but like Castaway was just, when you talk about the perfect day at Castaway weather-wise, like that was it. It was about 80 degrees. It was sunny, very little wind. And like it was just beautiful. Yeah, the ocean was a little bit chilly, but once you got in, it was fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got up. For those who are following, that was the day they had the churro Mickey waffles.
Yes.
So
apparently a big deal that the churro Mickey waffles were not around. That was a big thing on social media. But they were there on that Castaway day. I don't know if that's the day that it's there every time, but never fear, you can get your churro waffles at least once. People were speculating that that's something you could only get on the concierge level now.
Yeah, no, we had them. We were definitely not concierge.
Only one day, but we were able to get them.
And so we had decided, Chris and I had decided a while ago that we were going to, as long as possible, do the 5K on the island. And then we were going to give Meghan the choice if she wanted to join us. She's been doing a little bit of running. We figured she'd want to go to the kids club, but we kind of wore our running stuff. Actually, we wore our beach stuff because I wanted it for the character pictures along the way.
Right.
And then we changed into our running stuff. And Meghan determined she was going to do the 5K with us. She isn't a huge fan of the kids club on the island because pretty much all there is to do there is like the splash pad.
Yeah. Is there a pool there too?
She said something about that. I don't really know, but because that one's not open for us to see. But she wanted to do it, so she did the 5K, and that was totally fine. It was obviously a little slower than Chris and I would have done it, but I would say she ran well. She ran more than half of it.
Yeah, and I was proud of her. She even took a
wipe
little
out
digger, and after a few tears, got right back to it, and she finished it. She got her medal.
We all got our medals.
Yep. And one of her goals, and I think one of your goals as well, was to get the medal in time to go meet Mickey on the beach
and
with the medals.
Yeah, and we did that.
So, and then it's just nice beach day.
Yeah, she did. We after that we went in the water for a long time. And then we went and ate some lunch. They do the barbecue on the island. So there was definitely more food at this barbecue than the one 2 years ago. Now, I don't know. I don't remember that spicy chicken sandwich 2 years ago.
I couldn't tell you one way or the other, honestly.
I guess I couldn't either, but I don't remember a spicy chicken sandwich. And so.
But also just wanted to mention that the night before we rotated back to 1923 for dinner, and then the last Castaway night we rotated back to Marvel, which didn't have a show that time. It was just just dining in Marvel.
Before lunch though, we were in the water, and that's when we ran into her friend's family again.
Yep.
And we happened to notice them because they were pointing.
And I thought they were pointing at us at first.
But no, they were pointing at a stingray that was swimming through the water. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was.
So we saw the stingray because we saw them pointing. And then, of course, we talked to them for quite a while.
Let me amend that. You and her mom talked for a while. Her and her dad actually left. They were gone.
That's true.
But yeah, so we did. Yeah, it was funny. We ran into them several times. Ran into Emily and Scott several times too. I ran into them at the Haunted Mansion Lounge another time too.
Yeah. And we ran into them. We were finishing the 5K and they were going off to do it. Yep. So it was definitely fun. And it was nice because Meghan got to see both families' daughters down at the kids club. So, especially as an only child, seeing familiar faces there. I mean, she didn't really need them there, but she said oh yeah, I did crafts with this one. And
right.
I did crafts with she did crafts with both of them at one point in time. And so that was a nice thing for her to do, just to kind of have that familiar face there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, Castaway was beautiful. We did walk around up and down the shore a little bit. We did the pelican plunge. We all did.
Yes. That's the water slide on Castaway Cay.
And it is quite a plunge at the very end of it.
Yes, it does. It drops you into the water. It's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet above the water.
Yeah, I don't really know, but it definitely shocked Meghan a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think she expected that. Now, granted,
to be fair, I didn't expect that.
She watched it. I expected it because I watched the ride, but she's also 8, so
It was a little deceiving, like, watching it versus actually doing it. I feel like I dropped more than I thought other people were dropping. But I mean, she did great. She didn't wanna go do it a second time,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna again, she initiated it. She wanted to do it. It was like, "Yep, sounds good to me."
Yep.
Um,
Yep. We got a drink on the island. We weren't a huge fan of any of the drink options on the island. Most of them involved coconut or coconut rum at some point, which isn't really our thing. So we did ask if they could just make a margarita. They obliged.
it
It
was very
was
tequila-y.
it was they did not skimp on the tequila. Um, so but still appreciate them,
Accommodating.
accommodating us with that, which they don't necessarily
Yeah.
have to do, but they do anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, so that was really just truly, like, that was just a great day. Last time we were at Castaway, it was windy. I
Yeah.
mean, it was probably 68, so we still had, like, the last time we were there, the water was warmer than the air.
It felt warmer than the air. It was
It might not have been, but
it was in the low 70s, but with the wind it felt very cold.
um, so just having, like, that weather just made it, like, this, like, perfect, beautiful, amazing day, and,
Yeah.
none of us got sunburnt, so that was good. We played that well. I mean, we ran out of sunscreen and did have to buy more sunscreen on this trip, but none of us walked away sunburnt,
Yeah.
so we'll call that a victory. And
Of
yeah.
course, every day, being Disney Vacation Club members, we stopped at the Disney Vacation Club spot, which I think was on deck 5, and got our free gifts. Some of them were pretty nice. I like that hat that I got.
Yeah.
So
We forgot to go the last day
yeah.
because, well, the kids club line was insane.
Now the last day, yeah, we were going to the Frozen show, so Megan had some kids club time, and
But even dropping her off before dinner, it was pretty busy. We dropped her off not before dinner, after dinner. We dropped her off after dinner, then you and I went back and we kinda got everything packed up because we had to have our bags out in the hall that night.
right,
So that was fine, but, like, it was clear that everyone was sending their kids there for the last time.
Yeah.
And so then when I went to pick her up, it was an insanely long line.
and that of course, everybody had sent their kids there for the last time, and then they were
Picking
picking
them
up.
up for either dinner or the Frozen show.
Right.
And but still it was great. She had fun. We had fun. And then it was time to say goodbye.
Yep, and I do want to shout out Hanson, who was our room attendant, who was terrific, took great care of Megan. Megan was sure in her podcast to mention the amount of chocolate that he gave her.
But he did. It started like I made a joke. He said, like, he asked her if she was eating all the chocolate, and I said something like, "Oh no, some of it's for us too." So then he said to her, "I'm going to leave you extra chocolate tonight,"
and it's for you.
And he did. And then the next night, so at least 2 nights, and then the next night he saw us and, like, knocked on the door.
Yes. Yeah.
And came in and, like, dropped a handful of chocolate in her hand. So
yeah, he was great, and I talked with him a couple of times, just in the hallway when I saw him. He's been doing this for a long time. He's actually his grandmother lives in Massachusetts. He lived in Massachusetts when he was working for another cruise line, and so we talked a little bit about that. So very friendly, great guy. So if you have Hanson on your cruise, you're in for a treat. And so it is when we have somebody who's really above and beyond. I like to get pictures with them. So Megan and I did get a picture with him, and so that was great. And then we got off the ship. We learned that we don't necessarily have to rush off the ship if we're taking the transportation from the port back to
at least at Port Everglades.
Port Everglades. Well, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
we don't have to rush off the ship because we ended up having to wait for all of the
or most of the
buses.
airport buses.
All like there was just bus after bus after bus going to the airport. And that would just stress me out so much. And I forget who I was talking to, but somebody said that there have been times where people have been forced to wait outside of the airport because there's so many people trying to get into the
Probably,
airport.
especially if you think about a day where multiple cruises are
Right.
disembarking. That
Exactly. So,
but
yeah, so we ended up, waiting a little while to get on our bus, and again, the comically short bus ride to the to the hotel, which was the same hotel we stayed at the night before. We weren't able to check in that time.
But they took our bags.
They took our bags, and we took an Uber and checked out some places. We went to Flamingo Gardens.
Which is a neat spot.
It's not. That's not in Fort Lauderdale. It's just
whatever
outside of Fort Lauderdale. But it was originally orange groves that the family had really helped kickstart the citrus industry in the area, and then it kind of became a preserve for animals, and it's also a botanical garden and such. So
Davie, Florida.
So
it was the next town over.
So very cool spot. Meghan got to actually feed flamingos.
Yeah.
A flamingo.
Yeah.
The rest of them were not so
interested, but
she got to feed a flamingo, and there are all kinds of animals there. They actually had an aviary where you were walking among like pelicans and other
that I thought was really
native
cool.
birds.
So that was fun. And then we took an Uber for lunch to
Three Sons Brewing,
which is in Dania Beach.
Yes.
Which is also right next to Fort Lauderdale. Again, it was like less than 10 minutes from our
great spot, good beer. Now, of course, being from the Northeast, we're used to our hazy IPAs.
They did some good ones there.
Yep. Unfortunately, these folks, and I'm warning people ahead of time, they are Bills fans. Of course, neither guy behind the bar was a Bills fan. Neither of them were Patriots fans either, but they had Bills flags.
Yeah, we had gotten the recommendation from my aunt who had done a cruise there at the beginning of January. Not a Disney cruise, but didn't she, like...
Yes, they did a cruise.
They did a Florida cruise, right? And so she pretty much only drinks the New Englands, and so she found this spot. And so we're like, okay. It was close to where we were going, so it's like perfect.
And they also have a pretty robust food menu for a brewery, especially a brewery of its size, which included pizzas. They had pizza oven there.
They had a big option, or plenty of options. We did pizza, wings, and pretzel bites.
Yeah, and the wings were really good.
Yeah,
we got the truffle garlic parm wings, and they were very good. So so if you are looking for a drink in that area and you're a beer drinker, that's the spot for you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are others, but that's the one that we tried, and I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah. After that, we did pool time back at the hotel.
Yep. This time our hotel room was in a different spot. It was in the main tower of the hotel building, and from the seating area outside, we could see there's a bridge. There's a drawbridge that goes across, but we could see through to the to the port, and we were able to first see the Destiny head out on its second leg, on its second trip,
on its next trip,
which was actually Emily and Scott's families. They were doing back to back, so it was their second leg. So we watched jealously as they sailed off. And then the next morning, it was the Dream. The Dream was docked there. So and then we Ubered back to the airport. We ended up getting to the airport fairly early because we were not terribly familiar with the airport, and we found that it was really easy
Yeah.
to navigate. So if you're worried about trying to find your way, it's a
Especially if you
busy
can beat the
airport.
cruise traffic. Like
Yeah.
we beat the cruise traffic. But as we were there, you could see like
Yeah.
people coming in cruise clothes, and
It does get busy. It's not a huge airport, but it's a very busy airport. I think we were discussing when we were sitting out having our last drink of the night while Meghan was falling asleep, just how many planes we saw coming in and out of that airport. So very busy airport, lots of people moving, but really the process for us of getting through, and we've got TSA pre-check, which made it easier. It was pretty seamless. So
yeah.
And then we came home to a sleet storm.
Yeah. But we didn't have delays, so
Yeah.
I guess that's a win.
That's a plus. And we got to experience a new airport in Nashville, which
looked like a lot of fun. We just didn't have enough. Our layover wasn't long enough to actually do anything like sit down there.
Yeah. Seems like you could have quite a party just hanging in the airport.
Hop around the different bars at the airport. Yeah.
And that's pretty much our trip in a nutshell.
And I'm sure
very
we
large
things
nutshell.
Off. And I'm sure we mentioned some things that you don't, or repeated things, but I don't think we mentioned anything that wasn't important.
Yeah, no. I honestly,
but we definitely gave a lot. So,
and honestly, I just have to say this was a great ship. My first Disney cruise was the Wish 2 years ago, and I thought that ship was incredible. But I heard people having their gripes and things about it that I didn't really understand because I had no other reference point.
Yeah.
Looking at this ship, I guess I just noticed a lot more in the details, and that's not necessarily throwing any shade at anybody who was working on the Wish. We had a great experience on the Wish. The crew was great. Our servers were outstanding, as we mentioned, but just the circumstances in which that ship was built limited some of the things they were able to do. So you could just see a little bit more, like I said, in the details that this ship had just a little bit extra, felt a little more polished.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I can't compare. Like, I've been on 3 different Disney ships, and while I don't remember all the details of the Wonder, I just remember like that was an absolutely amazing trip. And maybe I'll go on the Wonder again someday.
It's in Alaska. That's on the bucket list.
And I think the Wish had like extra magic because we just thought like that was Meghan's first cruise. We saw her just go on and be like, what is all of this? Like, just the awe that she experienced on that ship. And I don't think that she'd done it before for the Destiny. So not everything was like brand new to her.
Right.
Like,
and especially the ship it's laid out very
similar.
much the same. So yeah. And I'll be interested to see too, just from more of the physical standpoint of the ship, when they dry dock the Wish,
if they update.
What updates they're going to make and things like that. And I'd be interested to see what it looks like after its first dry dock.
Yeah. Is it just going to be like fresh paint jobs, or are they going to do some other things too?
Yeah. One of the big criticisms that I heard about that ship was something we didn't get to experience, and that was the hyperspace lounge. A lot of people felt that was underwhelming, especially with as immersive as other things like you'll find at Galaxy's Edge can be.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of the people who gave that feedback, not the only one, I've heard a lot of feedback on that, is someone who had been on the Galactic Star Cruiser, and that's a completely different experience. Yeah. So, I'll just be interested to see
Guess
what
we have to go on another cruise.
Yeah, well, we've got a placeholder down, which
I know, but Meghan wants an older ship.
Well, right, but
Megan's not paying for it.
Megan's not the boss of us.
That's true. I mean, I said to you, I want the treasure because I want to do the trifecta of these ships.
Yeah.
But really, it's such a nice time. It's so like you can relax when you want. There's always something to do if you want to do something.
Yeah.
You can kind of make it as much Disney as you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, it's a Disney ship, but like if you don't want to meet characters, you don't need to meet characters.
Yeah.
If you don't want to like, I don't know, you don't need to immerse yourself in the Disney of it to enjoy the ship.
I feel like part of what you're spending the extra money on is the Disney of it. So I think if you're looking to avoid the Disney altogether, then it's not the ship for you. But you can. It's very much choose your own adventure. So it's great in that respect. And
I guess more if you're someone who is not a Disney fan, you can still totally have an amazing time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially if you're in a group that includes Disney fans, and you're not immersed in Disney the way that some other people are. Yes, you can still have a great time. And I also think, like I mentioned before, almost 1,800 kids were on this ship. So, the question may be crowding and things like that. And I think I was telling some of your coworkers at a function that I think that we as Disney people sometimes just automatically start to queue.
Yeah.
We're just conditioned to do it when we don't have to. So there's a little bit of that, but there weren't really any times that I felt like really constricted outside of like what I talked about with like the dining.
With the dining, and yes, did we like when we went up to the pool deck at 12:05 and we're looking for lunch.
There were a lot of people.
Yes, there were a ton of people getting lunch at that time too. Yeah. But like I never felt like in a position where it was like there are too many people here.
And truthfully, if we had decided that the line was too long for that stuff on the deck, we could have gone to the buffet or we could have done something else.
One of the sit-down dinings.
Yeah. So, there are other options. And there were times where we decided, no, we want Donald's taco place. So we stood in the line. Eileen stood in the line and got one of us had to watch Meghan.
You weren't going to get it at all until I was like, I'm getting it. And then you're like, okay, well then get me a burrito.
Yep. I think that was the day I was going to try to get a burger. And then you were just like,
no, you had gone to, you were getting barbecue. Meghan got pizza. And I was like, I'm getting taco. And you're like, okay, well then get me a burrito.
That's right. Was that the day that I ended up with 2 burritos?
I don't remember.
There was one day where I decided that was my day when I was just going to eat. It was a C day.
I don't think so. I think I could be wrong. I don't remember.
But there was a C day where there was no line. Like I actually went to get pizza because I hadn't had the pizza yet. And they were still in the process of making the pizza. And I was like,
oh no. And you came back to the pool with like a burrito.
A burrito. Yeah.
No, that was a different day.
Not to the pool. I was at our seats on the deck. But yeah, I did get a second burrito. Okay.
All right. I think
anyway,
it's bedtime.
Yes, we've exhausted this, and I think that we've said all we need to say. If anybody has any questions, they can feel free to reach out to us, and I'd be happy to answer anything, and probably turn to Eileen and say, do you remember this? Because my memory is not nearly as good as hers. But if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. I would, of course, suggest that if you are looking to book something, you talk with Emily and her team at We Do Travel Right, because they were so helpful to us, not only on this sailing, but previous sailing, and whenever we've used them to book vacations. So, we do travelright.com/Mazza, and they will help you out. And anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's about all I'm going to say, because if I add anything, we're going to go on a tangent again. So I'm going to end it here.
All righty. Well, we've got that placeholder, and now we just have to figure out how to use it.
All right, let's do it.
Now I can't do any more damage around this popsicle stand.
So long, partner. See you real soon.
Well, thanks for coming along with us on our trip down memory lane. That was really an elongated trip, taking 3 episodes, but I hope that not only was it entertaining for you, but you learned a little bit about this ship and got some of your questions answered about what that Western Caribbean itinerary is like, what the ship is like. I know that I had questions about how Marvel would be incorporated with the whole Disney and villains thing. Was this something that was going to resonate with me and my family? And let me tell you, I think that the real takeaway is yes, absolutely. This is still a Disney experience through and through. So if you are interested in a Disney vacation, of course, I've mentioned it before, talk to my friends at We Do Travel Right. WeDoTravelRight.com/Mazza. That's WeDoTravelRight.com/MAZA. And they'd be happy to help you out. And the best part is there's no cost for their services. So if you want to learn more, just go and talk with them. And if you want to learn more about the Destiny, you can also reach out to me directly, and there could be other people in our community who have also experienced the Destiny. And the best place to do that is at our new Mazza's Musings Facebook community, which is called the Musin Place. And you can find it by either going to the Mazza's Musings podcast on Facebook. We've got it pinned there so that you can find it easily, or you can go to our website, mazzasmusings.wordpress.com, and you can find links that'll take you there and to some other places where you can either find information on the podcast, past episodes, or how to sign up for our newsletter. And the newsletter would come once a week in your inbox, let you know what's happening with this podcast and other cool things that we have discovered that we want to share with you. Now, you can also connect with the Mazza's Musings podcast on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter at Mazza's Musings Pod. You can also follow on TikTok. You can find us on Blue Sky, and we also have a YouTube page that we'd love it if you would subscribe to. Now, of course, these are all great ways to connect with us, but if you'd like to help us connect with more people, word of mouth is obviously the best way, but you can also leave a rating or review on your favorite podcatcher, and that will bump us up in those algorithms that make certain things more visible than others on various podcatchers and various ways that people discover new podcasts. And of course, if you want to step up your support just a little bit more, you can buy us a blue milk. And buying us a blue milk helps us with the small monetary costs that go into putting this podcast together. And there's a link for that as well, right on our website or in the newsletter. And whether you are buying us a blue milk or this is your first time listening, I appreciate all the support. And as always, I hope you have a great weekend and a great week. For the Mazza's Musings podcast is brought to you by Hi Dad Soup. Check them out at Mickey and Minutes on Instagram.